Hey there, planners. Today I want to talk about my giant Erin Condren writing utensil collection. From highlighters to pens to markers, I have been collecting over many years, and I have some opinions about some of them that are fantastic and I keep repurchasing, and some of them that I definitely will not be purchasing again. So go grab your planners and let's get planning. All right, so I'm going to dive right in and start talking about all the different pens I own. But before I do, I did want to welcome those of you who are new to Planning Annie. If this is your first time here, welcome. We're so glad you're here. Here on Planning Annie, we like to talk about planning systems, organization tools, all the ways that we efficiently, effectively get things done, as well as have fun with our supplies, including planners and writing utensils and all the other fun stuff, that stationary items that make getting things done and being productive more interesting. So if that sounds like you, we hope that you'll consider subscribing and becoming part of our community of enthusiasts. Definitely join down in the conversation in the comments below. Ask questions, answer questions, and share your ideas. For those of you returning, welcome back. I'm super excited to share this with you because I feel like I have been collecting Erin Condren writing utensils for years, and I have a pretty good collection. I will have everything I talk about today listed down in the description box below so that you can find it. And I will, in some cases, have items located on Amazon or the Erin Condren store, because in some cases, the Erin Condren official website has discontinued some items, or they have been out of stock for a while, but you can still find them on Amazon. And so I will have exactly where you can find a couple different options where you can find things listed down below. So what I've got here is I actually took, you guys know I like to uncoil and recoil things. So this is actually a coil from a notebook that I uncoiled, took the notebook paper and used it for something else, recoiled it in a DIY Franken Planner Erin Condren process. If you are wondering what is that and how do I do that, I have a whole video about that, and I'll have that listed down below. But the way I am using this is I actually put my covers on this. So I have a ton of Erin Condren covers, and I wanted a way just to keep all of my Erin Condren, and you know, they're the front cover and then the back cover. So I wanted a way to keep all of my covers organized. This is the cover from the most recent seasonal supply box. There's the back. This is the Harmony colorway, which is absolutely gorgeous, front and back. This is the old school Erin Condren Waves. Absolutely love that. This is Color Blends from a couple years ago. This is the watercolor flowers from this year. Absolutely beautiful. I cannot wait till next spring to use that. And then the Etta V cover from this year's launch, and then also the canvas cover, which I'm holding onto this because I will use this on some of the planners I have completed for this year. So anyway, I just wanted to show you what this was because I know I'll get questions about it. But this is just a way for me to keep and organize. This is a cover that actually I customized the colors on. I think this is so perfect for fall, but I keep covers on here that I'm not currently using. I also have on the front of this the dashboards, which the last time I looked, they were out of the pocket dashboard, snap-in pocket dashboards. So you've got a tab up here, and then you can slide things into the front and the back. I've got two here because I'm actually using one in my summer planner right now, but they're really handy, and they're also great for making your own covers. So that's pretty cool. But I am using this in here too to keep a copy of all of my pen swatching for Erin Condren. This way I can pop it in and out of any planner, and I can keep adding to it. So I've got room back here to slip in another page if I add in some more. So, but this is my current collection right now. The last time I looked on the Erin Condren site and Amazon, these were sold out. So they were super popular items. I do not know if they are coming back or not. So I will definitely keep an eye out and try to update the links below if I can find it. Okay, so let's talk about just what I have. I have a ton of the colorful dual tip markers, which I will go over what each one of these are and show them. I've got a ton of those that I've been collecting in the various colorways for years. I've got the rainbow dual tip highlighters, the gem dual tip ink markers, some of the list markers, and also some from the Focus collection. So I've got a ton, and the way I keep these sort of separated out is in this accordion bag. So I really love these accordion bags on the Erin Condren website. I think they're so great for so many more things than just pens, because they're awesome to pack with. Like when you're packing and going on vacation, you put, sunblock in this one, skincare in this one, makeup in this one. It just like, there's a ton of ways to use this. I thought about, they didn't have these when my kids were going to summer camps and things, but how handy would this have been to pack in your kid, like for their, shower stuff, toothpaste, all that. It just, awesome. These bags are awesome. But this is how I am keeping all of my Erin Condren pens. And I will just pull out, if I want a smaller selection, I'll just pull out of this. Now I also do have a couple of other pens. Like this is the list making section, and I've got the Erin Condren list makers in here. You can see them, but I've also got some of my Zig Clean dot markers in there too, because it's just easier to keep them together. And then these are highlighters, highlighter and pen combinations. So I want to talk about each one and kind of how I'm using them. So I'm going to start with the dual tip markers because I think they're probably my favorite. All right, so you can see I have a very large collection of the colorful dual tip markers. And if you're not familiar with the dual tip markers, this is what they look like. They're a marker. They have two tips. One is a thin tip like this, more like a pen. And the other is a large tip like this, more like a marker. So the reason I love these is because of how beautifully they work on the Erin Condren paper. So if you've ever owned an Erin Condren and you have enjoyed the quality of the paper, then you should really try the Erin Condren dual tip markers with the paper. And I tend to write very large. I have large handwriting, not small handwriting. And so I find that the skinny tip actually helps me to write a little thinner. And I just think it performs beautifully on the paper. I also think that the color variations, like the different colors that are offered, there is just a beautiful array of colors. And I do not have every color. I am missing some that have been released. Like there was a special blue pack and there was a special, I think like a pastel pack. I missed some of them, but I will have as many as I can find of the different packs listed down below so that you can see. And every color does have a name, which I appreciate. I appreciate when markers have names. And every color has names. So you can see, what those are. But just really beautiful, and they're not just like really bright, colorful for one season. You've got browns, and this is definitely not all. I didn't pull all of them out because there are so many, but you've got colors that really work for, fall and winter, and I just think there's really great array of colors. The other thing I will say is the thing I buy repeatedly here is the dual tip black markers. These black markers work absolutely wonderfully in the Erin Condren paper, and I love buying them in a set like this. I find that they do that thinner tip does run out pretty quickly for me if I'm using it exclusively in the planner. So I like to buy them in this set of 3, but I think for me, I find the smaller tip runs out before the larger tip marker side. But I really think these are absolutely beautiful. They write well. And when I'm exclusively in an Erin Condren planner, I am migrating towards these more than any other pen. So, and you guys know how many pens I have. but these tend to dominate when I am using exclusively Erin Condren planners. So I think they're great. And I also love that I can use these pens for writing in my planner, but also getting artsy. So if I wanted to, you know, do a little bit of art, I've got this marker edge and I can use it in the Erin Condren planner without having to worry about bleed through, because the paper is just so great. So definitely recommend these. And again, I'll have as many as I can find listed down in the description box below. All right, next up I want to talk about the list making pen options from Erin Condren. These are the colorful dual tip list markers. And I don't have all of them, but I do have a pretty good set of them from a couple of different packs. I should start by saying that I own a ton, and this is just a couple of them, but a ton of the Zig clean color dot markers. And you know, these are a dot making marker on one end and a pen on the other end. Okay, I own a ton of these. I think I have every color except I don't have the metallic set, but I use these all the time in my planning. Like, I will make sure that I have one of these with me paired with whatever, you know, color I'm using that week, every week, because I use these all the time. I just love them for list making. And the fact that you can, you know, make that to-do item with that circle and then check it off when it's done, it's so convenient. And it really turns anything into a checklist. So I love these. So I should say that up front, because maybe that is poisoning my opinion of these Erin Condren list making markers. Based on my experience and the sets that I have, I'm not a huge fan of these and I would not purchase these again. I find that, and there are a couple of different tips on these. This one, for example, is a circle. So if I just casually pop it down, I actually have to do some work to get the full circle in there. And then when I do, and I'll zoom in so you can see, it's almost like, it's kind of not a perfect circle because there's some inky bleed. It reminds me of a stamp more than a pen. It's more like a stamp. And see, even just putting a little bit of pressure, I'm not really getting a really pretty, beautiful circle. I'm getting kind of a spotty. So if I press and move it around, I can get a good circle, but it's not something I can do quickly. And I'm comparing that to popping out my Zig Clean Color Dot and just going, it's really hard to mess that up, right? It's really hard, like really hard to mess up making a circle with that. So that's one problem I have. Now, there are other designs. So here, for example, is a asterisk. You know, Erin Condren always is famous for their asterisk design. Okay, that one came out pretty good. This one, you know, here's me trying to make a quick checklist, right? And you can see they're a little spotty. I have to be sort of purposeful in how even then, you can see I'm missing part of the petal. I don't know. Maybe that doesn't bother you. And if that doesn't bother you, awesome. Then these are kind of for you. I just feel like they're a bit more like stamps than like quick, functional, practical checklist making tools. When I use stamps in my planners, which is not very often, but when I do, I have to go slowly. I have to be very careful. You know, I'm getting out the ink pad. I'm making sure the ink is on there. I'm placing it very carefully. Versus when I am making a checklist, I am trying to get things done, right? I'm moving quickly, making my checklist so I can get the things out of my head and be practical and functional. These to me feel more like stamping in my planner, where I have to be very cautious and careful and thoughtful, and which is fine if that is how you want to approach it. That is not the way that I want to approach list making in my planner, so I have struggled with these tools. Now, there is a second end, and the second end is a pen. And the first thing I noticed about this pen was the end already looked pushed up into the pen a little bit, like it doesn't stick out very far. And my experience was when I went to write with this pen, I find that it's actually, if I press down too hard, it's actually the tip of the pen is being pushed up into the pen. And I write really hard. So that is a problem for me. I'm worried that I'm going to damage these pens. So I'm having to, just as I'm having to be very cautious using this end, I'm having to be very cautious using this end as well. So for all of those reasons, while I think this is a great idea, and I think that this is definitely something, having a checklist marker is definitely something that has the potential to enhance your productivity in your planner, I would highly recommend that you shop Zig Clean Color Dot markers instead. These are flawless. You do not have to be careful with them. You can do art, you know, sort of more beautiful lettering and things like that with them. But if you're just looking to have a checklist option that matches your planner, these are fantastic and they are not fussy and I love them. So I will have these listed down in the description box below. I like that I have these as another option, but I rarely, if ever, reach for them. And, you know, sadly, I just don't think they're executed very well for how I like to make list in my planner. All right, next I'm talking about the focused dual tip markers. These are sort of like dual tip markers, but slightly different. And the reason they're different is because they do have a fine side, but they also have a chisel tip side. So the chisel tip side is more like a highlighter than it is a marker. So I actually really like these pens, and the reason that I really like them is because of the color schemes. These, you know, focused is the more neutral, sort of professional line of Erin Condren, and these colors are absolutely gorgeous. This is actually 2 sets of the focus markers. I went ahead and grabbed both sets because I absolutely love these colors. Some of these neutrals are going to be so perfect for the upcoming fall season. So for example, this one, this is called the color Dusk. It's just perfect for using in your planner if you are trying to stay a bit more neutral. I just think it's absolutely gorgeous. So part of the reason why I was attracted to these is the color scheme. I think they're, you know, really nice. This color is another really great one. This is called Beige. You know, talk about thin and neutral. The thin side is almost hard to see. You can barely see that, I think, on camera, but the highlighting is absolutely gorgeous. So I really like these for the color schemes and for how they're going to work with, you know, fall themed, more neutral colors in the back half of the year. But other than that, they're really a lot like the quality of the dual tip markers, and I think they make a great addition. Okay, and last up, I want to talk about probably the thing that I'm most excited about from Erin Condren, and that is the rainbow dual tip highlighters and also the gem dual tip ink markers. So they're very similar, just a few differences. The dual tip highlighters, one of the reasons why I absolutely love this pen is because of the pen side. The pen side is this really nice thin belt tip marker pen, and it writes like a dream. It is actually, it is competing in my heart for the spot for this, because this pen is slightly thinner than the Erin Condren dual tip marker pen, the thin side. So it's actually competing, and sometimes I will grab one of these, and it's really nice to have, you know, for the week, a pen and a highlighter that matches, you know, whatever it is you're planning. The highlighter side is also very nice. The thing I don't like about Erin Condren highlighters is I feel like they're slightly too thin. I wish they were just a little thicker. You know, you can see here's the line on the Erin Condren paper, and to highlight the line, you have to do 2 rows, 2 swipes at it. So I wish it was a little bit wider, but the pen is really nice. I really like the pen on these markers, and the colors are nice. There's a good selection of colors. I love the rainbow ones. So you've got like a really nice, beautiful rainbow of colors, and then for the gem tip the Gem Dual Tip ink markers, you've got the pen side actually matches the color or aligns to the color scheme of the highlighter. So really pretty colors here as well. I have enjoyed these pens quite a bit from Erin Condren, and I use them a lot. And it is, I find, very functional to have a pen and a highlighter in one. So the thing I can't speak to about them, because I haven't really had them that long, is longevity. I don't know if you used this every day, how long would it last? I'm not sure. But because it does, it is kind of a thinner ink barrel, you're only getting half of what you would normally have in a regular highlighter or pen. So, but they're really nice to write with. All right, so there's a peek into my Erin Condren writing utensil collection. There are some that I love. There are some that I would not purchase again. There are some that I am definitely going to be purchasing again. And there's some out there that I haven't tried yet. So I would love to hear from you. If you have a favorite Erin Condren pen, let me know down below. Are there ones that I haven't added to my collection that I should definitely be trying? I would love to hear that down below. Leave all of that in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to Planning Annie for more content like this, and as always, thanks for planning with me.